Today we headed to Liverpool Castle and Astley Hall. It was my nephew's birthday, so he was with us today. Nimway's still on our way back from Cornwall. We get here later on tonight, which is why we're in Lancashire.
I'll be there at 3 o'clock in the morning.
We'll just get you on the Monday so that you're there on the Tuesday morning.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, it's the Monday.
Have Halloween Eve.
Yeah. Is this the castle?
Yeah.
Oh.
Sources point at Liverpool Castle, the original one, being built in the 13th century, around 1230, under the instruction of William de Ferrers, or de Ferrers. I'm pronouncing it wrong, I know. And he was the 4th Earl of Derby. No record of the original castle survived apart from a licence to fortify request sent in 1235 to William de Ferrers. But the original castle was built to protect King John's new port and was situated in Lord Street, Derby Square area by the Queen Victoria Monument. This is actually a folly. It's called a Victorian folly. Told you they'd need me history notes. And it's based off Liverpool Castle. And do you know where the Queen Victoria Monument is in town? That's where the original castle was. But I think his name was Sir William Levershulme, that's it, isn't it? Sir William Levershulme. He had this built. But it was, what was his name? Something Cox. He drew the original plans of the Liverpool Castle. And that's what this was based on, the plans that he took off the Liverpool Castle in the 19th century. Now, the original castle was built on a plateau surrounded by a moat that was 18 metres long. And it had a gatehouse with 2 towers facing Castle Street, with 3 round towers on the other corners and connecting curtain walls. It also had its own orchard. When William de Ferrers died in 1247, his son inherited Liverpool Castle and West Derby Castle. The heir to the title was Robert de Ferrers, and he actually rebelled against King Henry III and was thrown into the Tower of London at one point, his lands and title removed and taken over by the Crown.
I can't do both. Anthony, I know, thank you. Laugh, where are you going?
Fire in the hole!
The king's second son, Edmund, then inherited the land along with Lancaster, and it was later passed to his successor, Thomas. In 1315, Thomas granted the castle and land to Robert de Holland, which triggered the Banastre Rebellion, where the other landowners all banded together and attacked the castle. However, it took them an hour to admit defeat, because Liverpool Castle was no easy feat to actually take over. The castle and borough of Liverpool returned to the crown around 1315 to 23, and King Edward III used the castle in the wars against Scotland and Ireland as a defence. It was actually a fundamental castle and foothold, a stronghold in the war against Scotland, sadly. Well, for Scottish people anyway, I guess. In 1440, Sir Robert Molyneux was appointed constable of the castle, yet by October 1559, the castle was declared ruined and in a decaying state. It had repairs done and passed hands several times before it was finally destroyed in 1715, with the land to be used to construct St George's Church. The church was eventually also demolished in 1899, and the Victoria Monument was erected in 1902. And obviously the Victoria Monument, very famous in Liverpool, and you can go and see that today. However, we are currently at the Folly, which is based at Lever Park in Rivington, where Sir William Levershulme, I always say his name wrong, built a scale replica of Liverpool Castle known as Rivington Castle. So this is actually a Victorian folly that we're walking around today. The building plan started around 1911, with the building work starting in 1912. It is now a Grade 2 listed building, and the first foundation stone was actually laid in 1913. The works ended with his death in 1925, and in 2012 they removed certain aspects of stonework to protect the public and prevent climate. Levershulme based his plans off the plans of Liverpool Castle made by Edward Cox, a 19th century historian, and I knew his name would come back to me. There's a circular walk around the castle, so you can walk around the entirety of it. And down the back there are some further great walks as well, and also over at Rivington itself if you're fit and able. Whilst this lot explored a bit further, I decided to sit and enjoy the reservoir. And at one point, this reservoir actually supplied the entirety of Liverpool as well. And I believe to this day it's still actually owned by United Utilities Liverpool. But that could have changed over the last couple of years. I'd have to look into that again. There's some lovely walks for the dogs here, and it's actually one of Nim's favourite places, to be honest. But we'll bring her back later in the week if she wants to see it again. We do bring her here quite regularly. And the reservoir itself is absolutely beautiful. It provides some stunning views, and I just sat and rested here for a little while, to be honest with you, and took in the beautiful views that I was surrounded by. It's absolutely stunning here. I love it so much. You can also go up the pike too, and there's some wonderful views there and some fantastic conspiracies too relating to the viewpoint. So if you fancy falling down a rabbit hole, you can go down that one if you like. I actually picked some haws as well, and then we took the children to Mackie's because after all it was his birthday. After that they wanted to do something spooky, so asked us to go on a nighttime walk around Astley Hall because Hopes has regaled them for years now with stories of Astley Hall and spooky goings on there, so they were desperate to see it for themselves. So we had a little scout around here before heading off back home, well, to get Nim and then go back home. The lads were adamant that they were seeing things in the window. But I unfortunately didn't see anything. It does always give me spooky vibes though, and there's very few places that actually send shivers down my spine. But Astley Hall of a night always seems to do it. And I've been in Newsham Park. I've done ghost hunts there and all sorts over the years, paranormal investigations. But I don't know what it is about Astley Hall. It just always seems to creep me up the wrong way. But I promised I'll bring them back in the daytime next week so they can all go in and actually have a look around and see if they can see anything then as well. They're at that age, I guess. And if your auntie doesn't indulge these things, who's going to? I mean, I've had enough bad influences from aunties on my children. It's about time I got to do it in return. So Liverpool Castle and Astley Park are actually only about 45 minutes away from Liverpool. So it's not that long a trek really. It's just straight down the motorway and then you're there. And both locations are well worth the visit. This is a stately home obviously that you can go in, and it's still got all the old furnishings there, and it's wonderful to look around, and the grounds are beautiful at Astley too.